Hey everybody, how's it going? I know I'm a little behind the curve on this one because the movie I'm reviewing came out at Christmas, but I've been really busy lately. I'm a little behind on everything. I'm seeing Django Unchained this weekend if I'm lucky. So, I wanted to talk about Les Mis. No, I'm not going to try to say the full name because I can't. And you will all make fun of me. And it will make me cry. So, Les Mis. I saw Les Mis recently, and I'm not familiar with the musical, and I'm not familiar with the book, so I really came at this with very fresh eyes. It was an okay movie. I really wanted to give it higher praise, but I can't. For a start, I'm getting a little tired of the whole movement that musicals have taken lately. See, musicals used to be plot, 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 big musical number, plot, 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 big musical number. And lately, musicals are sung the entire time. The entire movie is a musical. And I kind of liked it at first, but it's starting to get on my nerves now. I mean, I miss where we actually got to have chunks of spoken dialogue, because there are parts in this movie where singing just isn't necessary. But that, I think, is more of a personal taste, so we'll let that go. I do want to say the performances in this are amazing. These people are acting their hearts out, and they're doing a great job. But the biggest problem I had with this thing, the biggest problem, well, let me hold on to that for a second, because the minor problem I had is the pacing somehow didn't work for me. It felt very rushed, and yet it felt like it took too long. The first two-thirds of the movie feels very quick, like I wanted to take a breath, because it just felt like the plot was moving forward so fast that I was worried I was going to get left behind, and then the last third of the movie kind of drug a little bit. So the pacing was off for me. But the biggest issue I had was the director's style. One of the earlier songs, Anne Hathaway has a great song, and they do this nice close-up of her face. This is pretty much, let's see if I can get it pushed. Here. This is pretty much the entire song. And then sometimes she'll be over here. But for that song, it was powerful. It worked. The problem was, all of the songs did that. At least half this movie is shot like this. Especially when people are singing. This is what you see. Sometimes even this. Sometimes this. This is it. This is about the range of the camera for half of the movie. I'm sitting there in the audience, and it was a packed house. And it's a late night showing, and it's taking every fiber of my being not to just scream out, "Back the camera up! Move back! Let me see some of this beautiful scenery you've got." Actors can act with more than just their face. These guys are doing a great job. And the fact that the singing is not canned, it's live, is very impressive. But there's only so much of this I can take. This gets old to me pretty quick. I mean, even when I'm just doing these reviews, I try to give you a little bit more space. You paid for the whole actor. Use the whole actor. It drove me nuts. It was 2.5 hours of this. I mean, there were some good shots. There were some artistic shots, but more than half the time when people were singing, this is what you got. Especially if it was a solo. I couldn't stand it. Like, it was... It ruined the movie for me. I think the movie would have been a lot better if it hadn't been for me having to put up with that. Because there were parts of it that worked. I thought the performances were excellent. I like the cast. I mean, let's face it, I'm basically in love with Anne Hathaway and Amanda Seyfried. They don't know it yet, but, you know, it was meant to be. We're going to be Mormons, and we're all going to live happily ever after. I thought everybody put in great performances. The acting was solid, but the director let me down. The director really let me down on this one. I also want to point out that the comedy duo, because that's basically what they are. They were there for comedic purposes. And without spoiling it, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but if you've seen it, you know who they are. I thought they were great. I thought the comedy in this worked really well. I just wish they'd back that camera up. I don't think that's a lot to ask. Let me see the scenery. Let me see these actors that you're paying this money for. You don't have to show me a close-up of somebody's face for me to believe that they're singing. You can emote with more than just the face. Body language. I couldn't see the body language because I couldn't see the body. Does it sound like I'm harping on this a little bit? It's because I am. Because it bothered me. A lot. Anyway, it was a decent movie. I enjoyed it. I don't think I'm going to see it again. But I don't regret seeing it the one time I did. It's a good story. It's a good story, good characters, good acting. I'm always in favor of a good story. I just don't think that this good story was told particularly well. So there you go. There's my 2 cents. If you're a fan of Les Mis in general, maybe you'll like it. Maybe you won't. Me personally, I don't think it was a very good movie. But I think it was a great story, and I think the actors did a good job. So... maybe a C+. I've seen worse. Then again, you're talking to the guy who watches movies like Petey Wheatstraw, The Devil's Son-in-Law, so... not much of a ruler to use. I'll see you next time.